Navero County Courthouse was built in 1905 and is the 5th courthouse in Corsicana. The current courthouse was designed by a well-documented architect, James E. Flounders, in the Beaux Arts style. Flounders gave the interior Prairie School design details such as were influenced by Louis Sullivan of the Chicago School of Architecture. Okay.
You get that beautiful little thing right up there? See that statue? She's so gorgeous. It's the prettiest thing I've seen in I don't know how long.
Oh, Lord. Well, who's the bronze statue?
See who this dude is. We are in Navero County. That's why you see Navero on the building. Corsicana is in Navero County. I believe it is the county seat of Navero County. Navero County Courthouse, 1906, in the Beaux Arts style. And we've got this little statue, this big statue, of this dude sitting right up here. I don't see a plaque or anything to tell us who he is and what this is for. Well, here we go. Jose Antonio Navero, lover of liberty, foe of despotism. Born in San Antonio, Texas in 1795 and died in 1871. And he was buried in San Antonio. He's a member of the legislature of Coahuila and Texas in 1821. And he's done a lot of things, including signing the Texas Declaration of Independence in 1836, member of the Congress of the Republic of Texas, and he was a commissioner of the Santa Fe Expedition in 1841, a member of the Constitutional Convention of 1845, senator in the legislature of Texas from 1846 to 49, and Navero County was named after this guy. Wonderful, wonderful statue. Guy holding a sword and a trumpet. The soldiers of the Southern Confederacy fought valiantly for the liberty of state bequeathed them by their forefathers of 1776. Nor shall your glory be forgot, while fame her record keeps, or honor points the hallowed spot where valor proudly sleeps. Tell it as you may, it never can be told. Sing it as you will, it never can be sung. The story of the glory of the men who wore the gray.
So pretty. The Scales home. Actually, the Scales Fortune home. One of its early owners, H.L. Scales, built this mansion in 1898.
You don't have the home.
I do have it on.
You don't, are you looking at the house?
Yes.
Okay, didn't look like it.
H.L. Scales built this mansion in 1898 with redwood from California, tile from Italy, and wallpaper and stairway from France. Now, Mr. Scales was the owner of a 15-acre farm north of town and managed by the Corsicana Cottonseed Oil Mill, and owned what was reputed to have been the world's largest cotton gin. But he was referred to as One-Armed Scales because he had lost one arm in a cotton gin accident.
Alright, so we're looking at the First United Methodist Church. Beautiful architecture. Founded in 1851, the sanctuary was built in 1871 and was not yet consecrated when the State Democratic Convention met here in 1872 and laid plans to free Texas from Reconstruction rule. The first missionary society west of the Mississippi was organized here in 1880. H.A. Boaz was ordained here and later became president of Polytechnic College, SMU, and was a bishop in the Methodist Church. Look at that spire. I haven't seen anything that gorgeous since we left Europe. The present building dates from 1896 and became a recorded historic Texas landmark in 1967.
Okay, so this is on West 3rd Street. It was built in 1886, and this is one of the oldest homes in Corsicana. Pretty red brick sidewalk. We do not have a red brick street. Okay, so on to the next one. 729. 729 is a massive two-story Victorian home was built well before 1900 by pioneer hardware merchant William Tatum. The home has over 7,000 square feet, including a full third-floor attic with 20-foot ceiling, an ornate S staircase, and 7 fireplaces carved in mahogany and oak.
Wow. Gorgeous.
That's 733?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so 733, the John D. Cunningham home was built in 1900 by the brother-in-law and business partner of Mr. W. Tatum. The house was designed by an architect named Lockheed and built by Whitesell Lumber Company. The spacious house has 6 fireplaces, 2 of which are back-to-back in the dining room and the parlor.
Third, Mr. A.L. Lemon built this home in 1895 of Louisiana cypress. In 1902, it was sold to John Wesley Edens, the owner of 2,400 acres of local farm and ranch land. Edens had served the area as deputy sheriff, tax collector, and city councilman. The late Victorian-style house features some Eastlake and Queen Anne detailing, and it remained in the Eden family for more than 40 years.
Wow.
The Pace home was built in 1894 by S.A. Pace, wholesale grocer, for his daughter and her family. The East Lake Victorian architecture beauty boasts approximately 3,129 square feet, constructed with cypress wood, with pine tongue and grooved porches, and it's got a fresh paint job.
It does. Beautiful.
And that window up there with the flower pot etched into the glass looks like it might be new as well.
Could be. I mean, it for sure doesn't look like it's pictured in the brochure.
That's a gorgeous, gorgeous home.
Well, you can tell it's got a fresh paint job. There's the cherry picker that painted it.
Yep.
And this is the Pace home. It's got a historical marker on its sidewalk up there. Take a look. Stephen Augustus Pace.
Moved to Texas in 1868. Settled first in Fairfield, where he met and married Aksha Maddox. They moved to Corsicana in 1871. Pace established a wholesale grocery business and was active in a number of civic organizations. Served as city alderman and as police and light commissioner. He was director of the Corsicana Commercial Club, forerunner of the Chamber of Commerce, and a member of the committee which established the town's public library. He lived in this house from 1887 until his death. Didn't say what year that was.
No. I'll look him up.
Actually, 1921.
1921. See his initials up there?
Yeah.
Nifty. Oh. This home was built in the 1890s by the widow of pioneer Corsicana attorney J.A. Halbert, a Confederate veteran. Almost everything about the home is of massive proportions. The wide front porch with its rounded apron features large columns supporting a full balcony on the second floor of the house. His widow built this one. The Smith-Mccreary home was built by Dr. Smith in 1880.
Yeah, in 1880, Dr. Smith was a mayor of Corsicana and responsible for organizing the first volunteer fire department in the city. In 1898, Mrs. A.W. Mccreary, a widow, bought the home for her family of 10 daughters and her mother-in-law.
Okay. Hold up. I think 1303 is next.
Yes, it is.
What do you know about 1303? The Dunn Ransom home was built in 1866 as a typical Texas shotgun house by E.E. Dunn. Dunn was later elected sheriff of Navero County. The S.M. Ransom family later remodeled and enlarged the house.
Sweet.
Okay.
Sugar sweet. Former home site of Joseph Cunningham, pioneer in Texas oil. He began his career as a laborer in the Pennsylvania oil fields, and after Corsicana oil was discovered in 1894, he played a major role in the early development of the field. A daring business leader, he moved his operation to new fields and organized companies, including Texaco, to meet the needs of the growing oil and gas industry.
He influenced legislation to prevent abuse and to provide conservation measures. His foresight in exploration, production, refining, and marketing helped to establish Texas as a leader in the petroleum industry.
Hot diggity. A fellow Pennsylvanian.
A fellow Pennsylvanian.
This historic home is...
Here, I'll hold that. You read.
All right. Senator James Wood's house, built in 1900 of longleaf pine lumber. The children had a skating rink and gym in the attic. Occupied by Senator Woods and family from 1900 to 1931, by his son from 1931 to 39. Senator Woods came to Corsicana from Tennessee in 1873. He became a lawyer, served as city councilman, mayor, commissioner of the fire department, director of public library, and was a school trustee. He was also state representative from 1911 to 1919. And he was state senator from 1919 to 1923. The ornate beveled glass door and sidelights came from the Fleming home that sat on the northwest corner of West 6th and 14th, which was torn down in 1955. This building is currently a law office, Dawson and Sod, LLP.
And the one right next to it there, Bubba, it's another attorney's office. Right? All right.
The Judge Simpkins home was built in 1873. This home is Greek Revival style and is one of the earliest homes in Corsicana. Elred James Simpkins served 4 years in the Confederate Army. A brother, William S. Simpkins, was credited with firing the first shot at Fort Sumter on April 12, 1861. Elred James Simpkins relocated to Corsicana in 1871 and established a law practice, building the first rooms of this house in 1873. He was regent of Texas University from 1881 to 1893, served as a state senator from 1887 to 92, and as a justice on the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals from 1893 to 95.
And that concludes our historic tour of Corsicana.
Yeah, the Corsicana tour is called the Carriage District because the homes here were built during the horse and carriage age era in the late 19th century. A lot of the early settlers built log cabin structures, but then that began to change when they started experiencing prosperity, and you see a lot of these beautiful, big, ornate buildings starting to be built. And that's what we were looking at on today's tour.
Alright. Hey, if you found some value or just enjoyed our little tour here, give us a like, a thumbs up, and if you have not already, please subscribe. We'll be back again next week with another tour of another historic town in Texas.
See you then.
Chili dog.